Tonight, I'm also going to discuss about the latest from Malamu. He came out and he said that he's not ruling out the political dialogue in settling the issue of Oloye Sunday IGBOHO and NNAMDI KANU. And the Lanomo Odua, they've responded. They said, to have any chat with you, first, take away the threats. You are dishing out to Benin Republic and free Oloye Sunday IGBOHO. We'll drop all charges and then we can talk. Also tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about IPOB. And I'm going to be very, very candid and sincere and honest with you at this point. Many of you will never like what I'm about to say or what I'm going to say because I can feel it. The division, the pretense, the attacks, and the rest of all those things that some of you are pretending not to be happening, it has taken a new dimension. When the DOS came out today through the IPOB to give an order that there will no longer be sit at home every Monday. And if there's anybody who try to enforce that, they should be arrested. That has thrown a big ball of fire on here. And I'm going to share my own sincere view on that. And if you don't like me for it, enjoy it. You probably will like me for something else some other time. But trust me, you are going to appreciate me for it when I get to that stage tonight. I just thought I should warn you ahead. But for those who know Maiyegun very well, and my take on issues, especially if I really, really dedicate my time to explain things on issues, they will tell you, I want to listen to what Maiyegun has to say about this. Because from it, I can pick one or two things that will eventually help my judgment too. I mean, if you want to. So Gumi said, and it's a question, by the way, according to him, he said, where is that my screen grab? I'll read it out to you. Gumi said, and another thing, quotes now, and another thing I noticed in the South is that there is a disparity between the level of education and know-how. And when you have such disparity, conflict can never end because people can hardly understand each other. So the Fulani debacle in the southern Nigeria, it is capitalized by secessionist movements of KANU and IGBOHO as one of the causes of the agitation for separation, Biafra and Oduduwa Republic. Evidentially, the crisis is another fallout of this same crisis. It's just a small screen. How many Fulani people have kidnapped people that will warrant secession? How many Fulani were massacred and killed in these states that will warrant secession? That's on quotes now from Sheikh Osaman Gumi. According to him, why do we want to break away from Nigeria? Simply because of the insecurity brought about by the Fulani terrorists to the southern Nigeria. Of course, that's not the reason, the only reason why people want to leave the imbalance contraption called Nigeria. There are so many factors. And all these factors are as important, if not more important, than the Fulani invasion, because people can actually undo themselves. One of the reasons why people believe that if we actually really want to achieve our real potential as a people, with the current arrangements in Nigeria, if it is never changed, if it's not rearranged, it is better everyone parts ways and deal with their problem differently. Every region in Nigeria, according to what should have been, gave their sovereignty to the center in order to be in return, to be protected by that center, protected financially, protected from any internal or external attacks. And every citizen should be treated as equal before the law. But that's not what you have in Nigeria. You have a situation whereby some Nigeria are more Nigerian than the others. Evidently, the Biafrans, over time, which initially led to a serious civil war, a genocide committed back then. And since then, what was meant to be no winner, no vanquish, as Gowon put it then, has turned to Cold War that you and I are very much witnesses to the profiling of the Igbos, their businesses, their everything, over time. And to the point that in that same Nigeria that's supposed to be a one equal Nigeria for all, Nigerians will tell you that they will never trust an Igbo man to be elected the president of Nigeria for some obvious same reason, profiling. Because some Nigerians are more Nigerian than the other. We have seen all this documented ethnic cleansing, ethnic profiling, evidently. In the scheme of things, even now the country is being run as well. The stakeholders, the decision makers. But that wasn't what they signed up for. So they said, restructure Nigeria back to what it was before 1966, before everything was completely destroyed, to what it is now. And everyone saying that has been labeled a terrorist as we speak. Now, as much as everybody seems to have been trapped in the contraption, the issue of Fulani terrorism came. And it came to the point where people who chose to defend themselves are being hunted, they are being hunted down, killed, their properties burned, their villages ransacked by the Nigerian military for them standing up that they want to defend themselves. And if you ever, and in fact, it is a treasonable felony if you stand up to say protect yourself or you make a move to defend yourself in any part of southern Nigeria. In northern Nigeria, it's actually a common thing where they allow communities to mobilize, buy guns, protect and defend themselves as much as they can. But in southern Nigeria, it is considered a rebellion, a means for the southern Nigeria to harm themselves and fight the northern Nigeria, an impression that then puts every security, every defense idea of the southern Nigeria, or even the people, let's even leave the government, the people themselves, the idea of protecting themselves, that's same mindset of if you try to buy gun and protect yourselves as a southerner, you are buying that gun because you said you are buying that gun because you are afraid of a Fulani terrorist, right? Meanwhile, that Fulani you see with his cows and his AK-47 is not seen as a terrorist before the law. I mean, in the face of the law of Nigeria. So as a southerner, if you group yourself or you do it individually, buy yourself gun to defend yourself, you are a gun runner, a criminal, and you will be treated as a terrorist. That is an unwritten code as we speak. Now, that is what pushed most people to the edge. That was what brought about Eastern Security Network. I, as a person, I started listening to Maiyegun KANU, his real messages, his core pain, his core grievances. The reason why is every now and then, talking about Biafra, evangelizing and mobilizing, getting people to know why. I was one of those who actually got to know why. The marginalization that is so obvious, but they were so bold enough to talk about theirs. A peaceful IPOB is what I know. A peaceful IPOB is what I knew back then. And a peaceful IPOB through Maiyegun KANU is still the same peaceful IPOB I know. I'll get to that stage of the latest development soon. People got pushed when it became a crime to even go after the assailants. We have evidence of over 1,748 illegal Fulani camps in Yoruba land alone. We have seen them kidnapped kings. We have seen them kidnapped prominent people in Yoruba land. We have seen them kidnap ordinary people. We have seen them kidnap lecturers, kidnap doctors, kidnap people, ordinary people that should be going about their normal businesses. We have seen them ransack the whole village, kill the entire village, and then those who managed to escape are now refugees in Benin Republic. We have evidence of all of this, and we also have the evidence of when our people are not cowards, they are bold enough to stand up and go after them. Oloye Sunday Igboho came into the picture because of that. He came into the picture because of that. Before he came into the picture, there are already agitation for the Yoruba nation. But there was never a better time for an average Yoruba to believe that whatever arrangements our forefathers have with Nigeria, whatever political arrangement or political benefit they are getting from Nigeria, that contract has ended the moment they denied us the right to defend ourselves. There are Fulanis everywhere in Yoruba land doing their normal thing. There are Fulanis there in Lagos. There are Fulanis everywhere. But the latest development has shown us that those who choose to stay in the forest, they are doing no other things other than land grabbing and then a serious terrorism. But the system in Yoruba land, the system in southern Nigeria, operated by the same compromised political class, buried all those. If a state like Ogun State, who has these people currently in Benin Republic, they have been in Benin Republic since February 2021. If Ogun State could underplay it, how come are you surprised if somebody from Yoruba land is saying, Maiyegun, stop ranting? You are just ranting. Because to him, it's just a rant. Because out there, all these are not happening. Sheikh Osama Gumi said, how many people have been kidnapped to make us get to say we want to break away? We peacefully said, let us protect ourselves. The political class came together, they put something together, they call it Amotekun. You deny them the right to be armed with the right, with the right ammunitions, protective gears to go after who they were set up to go after. Nigeria denied them that, incapacitated them. Not that they didn't have the capacity to do this, but Nigeria says with this limitation, you can't go beyond there, you can't go beyond there. Our people who resisted them in Abeokuta, in Ogun State, they had to go to Alamala military barrack or something. Abina or Nicolo, wherever. Alamala. They brought in soldiers into that same community for rejecting the grazing of cows by the Fulani terrorists in their community. They beat all these old people up. They whipped them like small, like slaves. Our people went after, not because you didn't have the capacity. We do. But it's a crime to use it. And that is why the campaign, the clamor for every Yoruba son and daughter to realize the danger you are in, no matter what Nigeria is trying to describe. It is better to be on our own. We can't protect ourselves. Oloye Sunday Igboho came out, our people from the OPC, they mobilized themselves. They went after this terrorist in Oyo State. They captured their leader, Iskili Wakili, his two sons. And when they took them to the police, handed them over to the police, what happened? They got arrested. They got locked up. For over 4 months, they were locked up in Ibadan for going after Iskili, who gave them the rights. That happened in Yoruba land. These are the pointers. These are the things. I was talking about Ogun State earlier. If Gumi is asking about how many people have been kidnapped, maybe we should show him this video of what the Fulani terrorists did in Ogun State. Ogun State, where Awolowo comes from.
Due to that, crisis, Fulani crisis that was occurred at our country. That's the reason why we migrated to this place. We are forcefully migrated to this place due to that.
By force.
By force. It's not by willingness.
Women. Oh, man or women. How much are us, man or women?
Only you.
Are dying here.
Both the women and men migrated from that thing.
No.
And
How
then
much?
people died.
But say how many people they killed there?
Okay.
Yeah.
There are few many people. But that our many people. Many people have lost their lives. People are still migrating because of that What happened? It's because of the Fulani crisis. Fulani, they are killing the people anyhow.
They are killing the people
anyhow. They will move from any village, from one village to another. They will migrate from one place to another. They just keep people. That's the reason why the people are scared. They move down to
Those are Yorubas from Yewa in Ogun State. Communities, people, children, 10 women, right? Had to have emergency labor while they were running away in the forest on their way to Pobe in Benin Republic. But this is not making any headline in any front pages in Nigeria, Yoruba land. Their media don't really see it as anything because they are more interested in 2023. So how many people have been kidnapped? How many people have been killed by the Fulanis that will warrant us to say we want to be on our own? It is this same way of not being allowed to protect ourselves that made them to start hunting down the IPOB members, hunting down the innocent people that they know they don't have the arms to commit any crime. But since the moment they heard about the ESN, what did they do? They declared war on them. And since then, thousands of people, innocent people, have either been killed or locked up, missing, as we speak right now in eastern Nigeria, by the Nigerian military forces. Or Nigerian military force, or what do they call them? The latest one, you've heard that in places. And all these are reactions to those they believe are more dangerous than the Fulani terrorists who have the capacity to shoot down a fighter jet, right? They have the capacity to attack the military, the defense academy. They have the capacity to attack military bases, military barracks. They have the capacity to loot military hardware, weapons, and all that. They have the capacity to collect taxes from citizens of Nigeria in different communities of northern Nigeria. But if you choose not to want to be part of that, you are more dangerous. You are more dangerous than the killers. And that's simply what it is out there. They did something at Iyala. This video can be a little bit disturbing, but for goodness sake, what they were looking for, they said they were looking for unknown gunmen, ESN. You have seen videos where Nigeria military opened fire on, civilian community because they were looking for ESN. And that was the first time. And that was actually what eventually triggered them. Because that's the first, when ESN was launched last year. it was the first time they felt like the might and the voice and the strength of IPOB was about to be put to a real test. And they spread that message of, oh, they put them together to fight us. That's what they said. They said they put ESN together to fight them. And therefore, they proscribed IPOB, declared them a terrorist organization. And then if they see anybody, just anyone, and according to them, by the way, every Igbo person is an IPOB member. They went to Ihiala and they did this. I just want you to imagine tens and hundreds of communities, small communities from different parts of Igbo land that are going through just what you just saw right there. That is not the terrorist attack. That is the Nigerian military. That's how they are fighting ESN. That is how they are fighting IPOB. They got the reason, they got the excuse. The moment they found collaborators in Igbo land, to perpetuate all these criminalities you are witnessing in Igbo land today, the unknown gunmen, the killings and all of that, all that stage to this point. And I remember, and I'll keep saying it, I remember when I first came out here to say, I was looking at some of these videos, I was looking at some of these pictures of, and the news and the stories, everything about these unknown gunmen. How come unknown gunmen suddenly came after the establishment of ESN? There was never anything unknown gunmen. This doesn't make any, and I started following up. And I remember first time I came out here to actually talk about it. And I remember many of you then who probably said, I had no idea of what I'm talking about. You see, maybe I should have been more explicit about what I meant then. Yeah? There are many people, as we speak today, that have tapped into the free money they are moving in Eastern Nigeria. The only viable organization that can indeed break Biafra out of Nigeria is the IPOB. No joke. And for those who will carry out so many criminalities under that guise, since they are going to be under the tutelage of the criminal governments that will let that happen, I think I should have been more explicit by saying, just like I said then, that the IPOB I know, the peaceful IPOB I know, right? And with all the tracks and then, the links and the traces of all the activities of the of the unknown gunmen as they call them, there was never any correlation. And I remember how some of you wanted to hit me raw. Maiyegun, they deserve it. I said, don't celebrate it. Don't. They don't make any sense. They don't. And I gave all the examples, I gave all the analysis, and eventually people came around to say, Maiyegun is like, I get what you mean now. So since I mean, many of us were celebrating unknown gunmen, giving them different appellation on the one hand, which is that they are violent, right? On the other hand, we want to all cuddle and say, no, IPOB is not violent. You can't have it both. You can't celebrate unknown gunmen and at the same time don't want them to tag IPOB violent. So maybe it was not so clear when I was putting that out there that don't celebrate this violence. Don't support any violence, right? Don't give them any validation. Don't give them any backing. Social media is so wide. And with what we have today, right? People believe that social media influences what happened out there, which I just don't fully believe. When these guys who knows how social media reacts, when they stage their state-sponsored attacks in eastern Nigeria, and you grab it and say they've killed 2 policemen, they have shot 2 soldiers, they have sent them to heaven, all these people who are killing our people, they have killed them and all of that. Yours is to celebrate it, yeah? Yours is to tell the world and then, survey, what do you call it? Enjoy that. But what you are doing is you are validating why they continue to kill innocent people. And I said, don't celebrate them. That is what I'm also going to say today to those of you who have now come to the point where you don't know what I will tell you. And I know maybe within days, this whole thing will also fizzle out. It will begin to make sense to you. At first, I have promised myself, let me tell you this. I have promised myself that I would never publicly, openly criticize anyone who is doing their best, no matter how little, no matter how high, fighting the injustice in Nigeria. I don't want to mind how you do it. You get what I mean now? As long as you stand up for something that is against the injustice, against the impunity, and against everything called the establishment called Nigeria, anything that will make a difference and change from what has brought us to this level, you are my friend. That's why I don't have, I'm comfortable with when I speak to Omoyele Sowore, when I speak to other people with different opinions, when I speak with people who actually want a different Nigeria, it is the same way. It simply means the same establishment that dragged us to this level, right? If all of us finally realizes that that is the problem, right? And not those individuals only, yeah? Then we are going to have a possible way forward. And I've also learned something too, that in this line of hobby, because I can't say it's this line of work, because I can't call this work, but in this line of hobby of mine, you have to know that people can't have it both way, good and good all the time. And what do I mean by that? When I said don't build expectation, when you listen to Maiyegun's diary Politico, it is for your own good. Because if you build the expectation, you are likely going to want to make me, as they say, people you don't like, you would expect me not to like them because you don't like them. People you like so much, you would want me to like them so much because you like them. And why? Because you like me. That is an expectation that will come with a disappointment. You know why? The people you like, I don't know why you like them, right? But my message will touch everyone, that what I say may kind of make you not comfortable. But if you actually pay attention, it is for your own good. It is for your own mental health. Let me tell you something. I have found out that some of us who are privileged enough to have 1 or 2 people to listening to us, right? if we are very, very kind of mindful of this, we will know that in this world of today where information is duplicated, information is manipulated to get people misinformed in a way for a certain agenda or that agenda, right? When people find a space where they can say, I can rely on that information from that person, I can rely on the information from this platform, we should not take it for granted too. I mean, in my own case, I'll be as sincere as usual. Do not celebrate anything that gaslights you. Just same way I told you never to celebrate the criminals who are perpetrating criminalities in eastern Nigeria, because none of them has any relationship or contact with IPOB that I know. And then Senator Abaribe, who came out and he said, if everyone is indeed mindful of the development in Biafra, in Igbo land, you will realize that there are more than 20 groups, right, who are also agitating for Biafra. The only prominent and credible among them and peaceful among them is IPOB. And they have what they call the DOS. I'm still coming to them too. But I picked something up, which is going to be the beginning of what I'm about to talk to you about this evening. Who are these guys, ladies and gentlemen?
Asa
Society.
Asa
Society.
Asa
Society. Nigerian government is out of flame. Nigerian government is out of flame. Nigerian government is out of flame. No, they gonna say,
I will cheat people there.
no, they gonna say,
I will cheat people there.
no, they gonna say,
I will cheat people there.
Attention, attention, attention. Today, being 10th of November 2021, we, the angry vipers of Biafra land, have noticed that the governors, senators, local government chairmen, House of Representatives, and all political holders in Eastern region have concluded to play pranks with the lives and well-being of all youths in the Eastern region. You people no longer have regards for the precious lives destroyed daily by these infidels. We hereby give you a 21 days ultimatum to ensure that NNAMDI KANU is released unconditionally and resign from your positions without further delay. Failing to do so, we shall have no other option than to declare you all wanted, dead or alive, anywhere, anytime. For all kings and chiefs in our land, we have decided to reduce yourselves to less than used sanitary pad. You are now being toyed about by uncircumcised Fulanis due to your idiocy and bribery. We, the angry vipers, are giving you 21 days to leave our land, unless NNAMDI KANU is released. For Obi Kubana and co, who are closely working with the killers of our youth, you and your crew made sure that Fulani Abakiari returned to Anambra State. You will hear from us. From now onwards, we put a stop to any form of tax and revenue in markets, road transport such as bike, vehicle and sundry within the Biafra land. Henceforth it shall be bloody. All hell shall be let loose. This very press statement is irrevocable.
Asa
Society.
Asa
Society.
Asa Buya.
Bua.
I don't know those guys. Okay? I don't. And there are people who actually believe that we should stop all this talking. We should just stop all this talk. They need action. I'm not saying you can't make action happen. All right? But you can just be like those guys too. What I don't want you to mix up is this. Somebody was trying to correct me there earlier that IPOB is not the only credible and peaceful Biafra movement in Eastern Nigeria. I'm so sorry if that possibly doesn't give credibility to others by that statement, so I'll take it back. But I would rather say IPOB is the only Biafran movement that I know of, right, that is peaceful and coordinated, credible enough for you to say you can hold their leader, and you will still see legal representatives from all over the world coming out to say they will represent him. I don't know many of them. There are many, but IPOB seems to be the biggest. And they have always been peaceful. There are some of you who love because some also like to live in denial. I don't like following that idea of creating alternative reality. Do not. And just like I said from the beginning as well, this I am talking about right now is actually not to discredit any one of you yet. It's just to possibly tell you or call your attention to what this is likely going to end as. Okay? We need action. Maiyegun live story. We want action. We want this. It's great. I would love to see it too. But who is going to order for that action? If you have found somebody who can indeed, call tens of thousands of people to volunteer like NNAMDI KANU did on ESN. Some of you don't like what the DOS are doing right now. And let me tell you something. Do you want to know what? I don't like what they are doing too. Because I want to believe that the people that are in position in that DOS of IPOB, they should understand the magnitude of what they are holding and why dialogue, reconciliation, and some sort of responsibility, leadership responsibility from them that will reflect the feelings of the people they lead. So I would say maybe they haven't handled this properly. But if you say we need action, Maiyegun, I want to see action too. If your action, is going to stop the daily killings of innocent people, the arrest, the harassment, and all of that, if your action is going to stop that, then who is going to give the order? Because in my own opinion, you can have it both. Yes, you can. You can have it both in the sense that those who prefer diplomacy, diplomatic way of dealing with it, in IPOB, let them deal with it. And for those who have the other way of dealing with things, who knows that they have the capacity to call out and say, I need 100,000 people, like NNAMDI KANU did, that gave birth to ESN. NNAMDI KANU called ESN, and it could possibly have said, I am declaring Biafra with these tens of thousands of volunteers. We saw them, we saw the video, we saw their camps, we saw everything, we saw their training, and they were meant to be in the forest going after the Fulani terrorists. They were not put together to fight Nigeria. They were not put together to threaten the lives of anybody. They were not put together. I remember vividly. But if that has changed, if all of you feel like now that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not here, and you think most of the people who are handling the case or handling the whole issue, if you think they have compromised, you don't have to tear down the house. You can just open a branch. Why not? Because some of you are so strong on social media. Honestly speaking. But you are still doing it under the name of IPOB. We love our leader. We love our leader. We want this. We want that. But what you are choosing and you are promoting is violence. If nobody has told you. And if you are probably so kind of, coward enough not to be bold enough to say it. Because what happened now is that somebody needs to take a more drastic action. Because this guy is there right now, have compromised. If that is your theory, that somebody can be, can be anointed by any of you. You have the army on social media. But make it real. Instead of tearing yourselves apart. I remember when that takes me back. That takes me back to this. Where is that comment again? Just a moment. Yeah. As much as I like to listen to your program, you are too fixated on this DOS Biafra issue to the extent of using foul language like "what the fuck" on people with different opinions. Once you start becoming repetitive with your program on a daily basis because of Biafra DOS, many people will start losing interest in your show, in which I am one of them. So here is another one. Maiyegun, I have been listening to your program since the days you broadcast from your kitchen. But today's episode, I don't really like it. My advice to you is to stay away from DOS and Simon Ekpa matter. It's better you talk about Biafra and Nigeria. Apply wisdom. That's what the other part of that communication is. Fixated. Is that what you call it? Oh, I am fixated because I have seen people's lives taken when many of you too saw that. And to this day, apart from these guys we saw with guns now who covered their faces and they made that video in the forest. And apart from many of you like me, the only difference is that I'm not sitting down here and telling people that I am working to raise an army to defend Yoruba land when I am not working on any army. I am working with some people. They are bringing in some weapons. They are bringing in this and that. Yoruba people should not worry. We will fight for you when I'm not actually working with any goddamn person. I am not like that. But like many of you who sit down comfortably in your different places all over the world, I am yet to see you, like NNAMDI KANU did from London. You know, NNAMDI KANU was not in Nigeria when ESN started last year. From London, he gave the order and he said, I want people to volunteer. And you saw the video, you saw thousands of people from all over Biafra land who volunteered with their coordinators and all of that. That is exactly what I would love to see you do. Instead of the social media bragging, the social media, I will do this. I remember what make people like me. Let me try and remind some of you. What actually make people love Maiyegun, right? From the word go, is my ability, to break news, to break information on social media when majority of the media houses in Nigeria have no clue. I started that 8 years ago. 8 years ago. And it was so good. I was so good with giving people this kind of information. It wasn't this bad like terrorism and all of that, where people can make up stories just to to appeal to your fear, then make you feel like, hey, Chineke and all of that. Back then, it was like people were asking, this Maiyegun, where you they get all this story? Where you they get all this news? Where you they get all that? That was the primary thing that actually got people to like Maiyegun from the onset 8 years ago. And today, the reason why most people now say, I actually like Maiyegun is because from experience, I have seen that it is so convenient to make mouth on social media, especially if you have the, yes, man, carry go, my brother, well done, you are this, you are that. Until I saw NNAMDI KANU gave an order, and he said, I want 100,000 men. to defend Biafra land against Fulani terrorism. And they all came out voluntarily. That was when I was like, oh boy. There's some levels to these things. So I can still use my access to information and tell you things that will happen. Put them in a way without having to arrogate any kind of unnecessary importance to myself. If I cannot command 10,000 people to come out in London tomorrow, and they will come out because I don't have that capacity, forget it. So all of you who are the keypad warriors, DOSDs, Simon Ekpa, that, why can't you just do this? Make it rain. Let it happen. Somebody like me will report it. If they say next week 100,000 Biafrans are going to do this or do that, I'll be looking forward to it. I'll promote it. But if what I'm going to tell you is going to rise you up, and eventually when the bullet comes, I'm just going to come back and say, they have killed us again, oh. And people will say, but what happened to your last broadcast where you told us that there are some ready-made army? Men, people, they are just waiting for the order. Since the man we're supposed to give us the order, no day. And the people who are supposed to do it now and get us out of this whole mess are already compromised. They are already sabo. Can't all of you who said we should do it different way? I'm just saying, like, I will support you. I'll talk about it. Let's see. Call out and say people should come out. And I told people, I said, listen, when NNAMDI KANU was not in their custody, it was a little bit fair game. And they were a little bit worried too, being careful. Because NNAMDI KANU is not there and he has an army that they don't have the real data. And they don't have the idea of what they could possibly turn to. And they are worried and scared. But the moment they have NNAMDI KANU in their custody, they have the upper hand. If nobody has told you that, they have the upper hand. Listen, the worst case scenario is that a civil war will break out. Do you really think that is a good thing? And do you really think that your imaginary Biafran army, the ones that can take Nigeria down, the ones that the DOS will never allow you to use, do you really think they are ready, genuinely, between you and me, to protect the civilians, the vulnerable men and women, like that woman crying, whose house was burned down? Do you really think that your imaginary army, they are ready to defend her? Do you think? Or you are just going to just talk about her and use the anger you get from the video to promise us another threat? We'll do this, we'll do that. You don't have to tear yourselves down for that. Do it. Make the call. Since they have NNAMDI KANU, the first effort is to get him out of that place. It is the game changer. Because the worst case scenario is that if anything happens right now to NNAMDI KANU and people should react, they will kill and kill until possibly they will trigger a civil war. And that is their primary agenda. But for somebody like me, we don't like violence. I don't promote it and I don't support it. But looking at people who are the target of our utterances too, when we have nothing to back it up, that worries me. And I'm not even trying to judge you. I'm just saying, do it now. And if you can actually do it under a different name that gives you a better so I don't know what you mean by that, Zeke. You're sending me do you think people send money to Naira and put 3 million each on people's heads? I don't get that, by the way. Or maybe if you can rephrase, maybe I'll get it. There's no point in tearing yourself. It's not I keep saying it, it is not a competition. NNAMDI KANU need to come out of there. And anything that can be done in a peaceful way should be done to mount the pressure. I support that. But do you really think if people start, if all of you who have the capacity on social media, all of you who are the big men on social media, who have the idea of how this is going to go, right? Do you think if you start fighting, then you are just going to wake up one morning and they will just push NNAMDI KANU out for you? Because what I found is this. You see that sit at home of a thing that has become controversial, right? It has become voluntary. Every Monday, people sit at home. Like, I've seen that. Like, people always sit at home. And that is what the IPOB said today. They said, if people want to sit at home in support of NNAMDI KANU, let them sit at home. Please, stay at home if you want to, every Monday, until it's released. If you don't want to, of course, you can also go about your normal business. But that has angered so many Biafrans. And I kind of understand. But you know, one thing is this. If you put it into a vote, right, about the sit-at-home in Eastern Nigeria, like you would like 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, or what have you, you are likely going to see majority of them vote yes, that they don't mind. But there is no chance of putting that to vote now. Is there? So the DOS said they are not responsible for anyone who goes out there to attack anybody for not sitting at home. Are you going to go out there to attack your own brothers and sisters for not sitting at home? Then don't do it under IPOB then. I mean, there are many, many groups who are doing everything to get NNAMDI KANU out. Abi, you can do it under any name. It's like some of you have that number already. And some of you have the plan and all that. And you, in fact, you know the effect that this will be or the pressure this will be. And these guys are not going to give you that for whatever you think they are up to. Why not just do it on your own then? I mean, somebody can just come out and say, we are going to sit at home for the next 2 weeks. Just like NNAMDI KANU would do. We're sitting at home and that's it. Everybody will sit at home. So somebody should do that too and say, well, you know what? We're going to sit at home from Monday. Then compliance. That's what they say. You can't force Igbo man to sit at home if he doesn't want to. And you can't force him to leave his house if he doesn't want to as well. It's always been a choice. And the impression we have out here is that it's always been voluntary. It has always been voluntary, isn't it? Or hasn't it been voluntary? Is that not the impression we tell everybody? Did we come here to say we force anybody to sit at home? Do you come on social media and say we force, even though some of you always threaten and intimidate, if they burn you well, why you say no come out? It is the compliance. So somebody should make the order if the DOS is not going to make it, but do it in a different name so that you don't rubbish the achievement and what you have done. Because you see, NNAMDI KANU won't be in that place forever. It's going to be out. And when it's out, what kind of IPOB do you think is coming back to see? Have you thought about that? Maybe not. So that is why I'm fixated on IPOB. Because for whatever thing, the adrenaline that is rushing right now through everyone, the suspicion and every other thing that is going through everyone, I am not saying they are not justified. Listen, you have every right to feel the way you are feeling. But at the same time, you shouldn't then tear down the whole thing because you have found a new alternative way. What if you have them both? Diplomacy, which is legal way to get NNAMDI KANU out of that place. But if you have other way to declare Biafra before December 31st, do you think if you declare Biafra before 31st and we see that you've done it, we will not celebrate it? I will celebrate it. The world will talk about it. But we want to see you prove it, not just on social media. Prove it out there. NNAMDI KANU proved it out there. That's how he cemented the trust. That's how it cemented the followership. Some of you are just latching on that followership, latching on that, trying to profit from that movement because IPOB name has become a franchise. Have you noticed? So many people have turned it into a franchise. IPOB, IPOB, IPOB this, IPOB that. No joke. But he proved it out there. And if he now says, I have told the TOS, the people who come to me, that people should do this or should not do that. Even if you don't like it, if you disagree with it, you don't have to tear the whole place down. That's what I'm saying. You can still do what you want to do by bringing out your own kind of direction. It happened in South Africa. That is what gave birth to this the South Africa ANC youth wing. The young people eventually disagrees with the ideas of the old. And at the end of the day, when they formed their own path, they finally had the privilege of sitting together with those who call themselves the leader of ANC, the Mandela's party. I mean, inside that same ANC, right? The youth wing, as I said, before they became the proper youth wing, they were pretty much like the combatant wing of ANC. If that is what you want to choose, you can do that. You can do that with a bit of a dignity. And same thing goes to the DOS. I know some of you watches my video. If you have a chance of watching my video tonight, you see, I have been a leader of so many things in my life. Trust me, I have been a leader of youth in my entire local government. I have been a leader of a movement that crisscross the entire Western Nigeria, and to the point that that movement metamorphosed into a political party. I have been a leader of a political party too. As young as I am, I got people interested in an idea, just the same way I'm talking to you right now, an idea that we could experiment with if we want to say we now know better on this or that. I have led people. I have been called out. I have been attacked. I have been underappreciated. But above all, I learned a lot when it comes to leadership, right? It is responsibility. And in this modern day and time, where all of us are now opinionated, ego, things that make you feel like some people are beneath you due to the position you hold in the organization that you are in. At the same time, without them, there is no you. Without these IPOB members all over the world, there is no NNAMDI KANU, and it's a vice versa thing. Without NNAMDI KANU, there is no IPOB. And that is a statement of fact. But the only thing that makes IPOB symbolic is what the structure represents, and which is what NNAMDI KANU represents: leadership, standing firm and all that. You might be acting based on the order of NNAMDI KANU. But in the Bible, they say, now the Yoruba part I remember say, Ibukun fun the north of ọgbọ́n ṣe, ìbùkún ni fún ọmọ náà tó fi ọgbọ́n ṣe. Like if they send you message, you also have to be pretty much ready to deliver it with loads of wisdom if you know the people you are dealing with. Maazi Nnamdi Kanu is there in the custody of the DSS, right? Which means that people out here knows that he only relies on whatever you tell him. And for those who have access to him. So to build trust, sometimes you don't go all out fire blazing. For example, when I was following this development from the onset, and they said they blocked Simon Ekpa on Twitter. That was something that I expected those who are within the rank and file of IPOB, the DOS, and all of them to quickly saw as a red flag. There is a friction in between. It shouldn't have been allowed to get to this level. Why should you block him on Twitter? Why should you block him from accessing the Nnamdi Kanu's official Twitter page? This triggered this whole trolling attack on people's and all of them. So leadership comes with responsibility. So you cannot be wielding your big stick underground, yeah, setting people after one another within your leadership, and do not expect a kind of counter reaction. And in my own way, leadership, this house should not fall. This house should not burn. Because if it does, trust me, even some of us who are not from Biafra, we will likely get some little burns on our clothes too. This ego, internal ego and all of that some of you are hiding, putting behind veil, blacklisting, attacking yourselves. DOS can make that stop tonight. Because there's so many things that some of us are learning and monitoring about the movement of the Biafrans, the reactions of the political class and the rest of them. And I told you something about trust. If you have trust issue, you are going to have a lot of mental health problem dealing with Nigeria, Biafra, and Yoruba nation struggle, because you are dealing with a bunch of career criminals in that country politically. And they will do anything to break you. So, for those who have the chance as leaders, you need every tool, every weapon in your arsenal. I remember telling everybody then that, listen, Simon Ekpa is an institution that you should all protect. Protect him. Disagree with him all you can. But don't let that platform die. Don't let that brand die. Because you have an alternative that is big enough to be like a bigger umbrella. But if there are ego in between, even if they were hiding them, trust me, we can feel it too. And just like I said from the start, because you don't like these people and you like that people, and you want Maiyegun not to like these people, not to like that people, my intention is not to judge anyone. Because if I check it very well, it is Nigeria that brought us to this precipice. It is Nigeria's injustice, Nigeria's impunity, Nigeria's corruption, Nigeria's gaslighting and their ethnic profiling. It is this that brought all of us to this level, where some people want regionalism, some want restructuring, some want Nigeria to break up into 20 countries or even more. Others just want Yoruba nation, while others are so insistent that they want Biafra. Nigeria is the central problem. So if I see anybody standing up, whether they are taking left or they are taking right, I won't publicly criticize them. And if I have a chance of speaking to them privately, then I can speak my mind. I can tell them, what the hell is wrong with you? Just like somebody who sent that comment that I was using a foul language on people. That fuck. Alaye, trust me, tonight, I don't want to use that for some reason. And I don't have intention of getting to that point of enraged and all that. But the bottom line is this. Elders, leaders knows that if Nigeria who have leaders, if they have responsibility or they know their responsibilities, you and I may not be at this level, right? We may be having healthy conversation about how we are going to break up and break away from Nigeria, not because of terrorism, not because of this, not because of, but because we feel we can do it better on our own. And nobody's going to be hunted down as a terrorist. Nobody's going to be kidnapped or, nobody's going to be killed for it. You get what I mean now? But the irresponsibility of the Nigerian leaders, past and present, brought us to this level. If you find yourself in this position of influence, position of leadership in a small organization, a big one, in a small platform, a big one, remember, all those things comes with responsibilities. And one of them is what I just did now. My responsibility is to let people know that there will always be hope, there will always be light at the end of that tunnel. We should not escalate their fear. People are not stupid. People are reading all the comments. They are reading all the attacks. They are reading all the trolling and all of that. And they look forward to people like us every now and then to tell them that it is nothing to worry about. So you can have it both ways. Why not? If the DOS want to go diplomatic and you feel like, no, we don't like all this talk. They have, we want to do it this way. Do it under a different name. A name that suits what you want to do. Call yourself a branch in IPOB if they allows you, and don't rubbish that name. Nigeria is spending billions, a lot on media to rubbish that name, to make sure that that name, whenever you search for it, it's going to be appearing beside the names like Al Qaeda, the names like the Taliban, the names like all these terrorists in Mogadishu and all these places. That is what Nigeria is spending millions of money on, billions of money on, locally and internationally. Don't give them that license, okay? If you think sitting at home is the ideal thing, right? And you believe that people will listen to you, okay? Don't give a counter order that will then make this kind of stretch more. And let me tell you something. Retreat sometimes is not surrender. Okay, as they say, no retreat, no surrender. Don't listen. Make your own phrase. Say things you probably will believe in yourself. Okay. Retreating sometimes is not an act of weakness. In fact, most of the time, it is an act of strength. When you have to, you know what I mean? Because the world will push you to feel like you are doing the right thing. They always do. People talk to me all the time. Maiyegun, you are this. Maiyegun, you can do that. Maiyegun, I'm just like, I know. Thank you. Thank you so much. Lovely. Oh, yeah. Thank you. But personally, I know what I can do. And I know what I can't do. And I'm saying it to you right now. Wherever you find it within you, maybe we'll see the difference. But remember the day I told you never to celebrate unknown gunmen, because they are state-sponsored terrorists who are unleashing violence on the people of Eastern Nigeria in order to pave way for what is going on right now, Operation Golden Dawn, where innocent people are being killed in their homes. Their houses are being burnt down simply because they can easily be labeled supporters of IPOB, as if to say IPOB is a terrorist organization. So if you want to take it a different way, you can. Please, but you can do it. You are not going to be helping NNAMDI KANU if you start violence. You can take that away from me, free of charge. You are not helping him, and you are not helping those who have become victims of Nigeria brutality so far. Some of you are talking about IRA. Some of you are talking about places that you have to, you have to fight them and the whole world. Are you saying we have to start promoting human casualties so that we can get the attention of the world. Do you know the human casualty we are talking about? We are talking about our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our uncles, our, all these, our disabled, vulnerable, brothers and sisters from Eastern Nigeria, from everywhere. We think we should do it that way. Are we talking about, and what number are we talking about here? 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million? How many millions do you think we have to, we have to die so that we can then get the attention of the world? I'm just saying. It doesn't mean that I can tell you what to do. I'm just telling you that if you know other way, right, than those who are there right now, maybe you should try it. Not just on social media. Show it to us. Like the vipers. You look at those vipers, guys. I mean, what did I call them? Dragon viper, whatever they are. Yeah? Dragon viper. About 10 of them. Okay? Now, those are the people that are going to take over Biafra from Nigeria. If those are the kind of people that are promoting Biafra 5, 6, 7 years ago, you will never find somebody like me talking about Biafra the way I talk passionately about it. You know why? Because they won't even give you the reason to actually research enough. But Nnamdi Kanu, for those who have listened to him, for those who are not listening to his anger, the rage, and things he said when he's raging and all of that, just like somebody like me that would talk, and I would just be, you know what I mean? And then the next thing you're like, I like that Maiyegun, but every time he's using that weary, you this, you that, yeah, I hate it, like somebody said. You don't use that fuck or, I'm like, so you can now go ahead and say, that Maiyegun, I don't even know why people are listening to him. That one that will just be, But there are those who listen to Maiyegun because they pick all the points. They make whatever they can of them because they know they are always useful in helping them to understand how things are without having to wait for those manipulators. So Nnamdi Kanu will make you ask some questions and he will say things and you just have to go and check and say, no way. This is not what they told us. No way. So Muritala killed over 10,000 human beings in Asaba. And the same Muritala is in front of our... No way. You see, Nnamdi Kanu got many of us to begin to actually verify things we were told when we were growing up, that we believed. You were able to go and research, man. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know that. Nnamdi Kanu got many of us to begin to dig up old videos. I'm talking about archived videos, pictures, maps, things that get you thinking, to ask questions. And by the time you ask more questions, the more questions you ask, the more enraged you become. Then it made himself a teacher and he started teaching people to, do you know this? Do you know that? Do you know that this? Do you know this is why? Do you know this? If this was not like that, you didn't know this could have been this and that. Things that got you thinking. I'm like, that's true. That is so true. Do you think if Nnamdi Kanu is putting gun over his neck and he's wearing and he's there in the bush somewhere and he's making this threat and all of that, do you think people like us will be interested in the Biafra struggle? Well, again, I am not from Biafra. I am just a friend of Biafra. And there are things that got us interested, genuine things, valid reasons why Biafra should be given a referendum. And with the level the IPOB has pushed it to, if you think violence is what you think you can make of it, to further make it faster than what it has been, of course, do it in a different name. I mean, please, be like those guys. Do it better. You have thousands of people who agrees with you. Tell them to meet up somewhere in Anambra, somewhere in Abia, Enugu, Ebonyi. Just tell them to meet up. Like Nnamdi Kanu ordered people to come out and volunteer for ESN. And they came out. Do it too. And trust me, you are going to stamp your own authority on And from that moment, you can begin to give order. And you don't have to worry about the DOS. I hope it won't get to that. And I hope the members of the DOS will actually see my video and they'll possibly act like leaders with responsibilities, right? And do the right thing. So to every one of you who took your time to join me tonight, Malamu said they are going to, what do you call it? They are going to be open to a political solution between the NNAMDI KANU's detention as well as Oloye Sunday Igboho's detention in Benin Republic. And Ilana Omo-Odua responded with, listen, if you want us to even have any conversation at all, you have to tell Benin Republic to allow the legal process to, to take its full course or release Oloye Sunday Igboho. And then you have to drop all the charges on our people, that you have charged for terrorism after killing 2 of them. You hear what I mean now? So then maybe we can have a chat about the political solution, because referendum is a political talk too. Do you know? A referendum is a political conversation, a political solution to all of this. So if they are open for it, yeah, there are people who would have to speak for you and me. Do you know that? And we cannot treat them with suspicion. We cannot send people that we suspect to go and talk to us, to go and talk on our behalf. Or don't you think that to get Biafra, people are going to sit on the table? They are going to talk. They're going to talk about a lot of things. What to give up, what to give, what to take in, and the rest of that. A negotiation for independence, which is the peaceful one we're talking about here. Before they finally now say, okay, now let's pick a date for the referendum. A yes or no vote. They must have concluded on many things. So to some of you, yeah, this is taking forever. But trust me, if you take your time to read up on at least some of the recent or new countries in the world, even for those who fought war to become new countries, right? When they ended up on the negotiation table, before the final decision on the referendum, they first have to discuss how they are going to cut and clean and divide their gari. So you're not going to send people you don't trust there, are you? I want a bigger and a larger house. Nigeria is asking, using the unity beggars to. I'm telling you right now that for being together all this while, witnessing all of this all together, then we need one another. And there's a way you can do it. Unite, and unite yourselves. It's up to you. And if to say now violence you choose, like on social media, people who choose violence. People who just want to fight anybody. If you say anything, they will attack you. If you say this, they will abuse you. You better learn. You better learn that the journey to get an independence for a country is not a journey of 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. This can take you another 20, 30, 40 years. No joke, even though we don't wish it. But if that sounds so kind of unreal to you, okay, I understand. I'm just saying. It's a process of negotiation. There's a process of agreement. There's a process of disagreement. There's a process of concession. There's a process of compromise. There's a process of so many things before they finally get to the process of a referendum, a political process. So you have to learn how to trust people, or you just have to do without them. For those of you who don't trust the people who are currently in charge of the IPOB, to have a clear head, you can't hijack it. You have to start yours. Or we just have to see the kind of leadership quality of those who are in charge of DOS now. Are they the type of leaders that actually can build and unite the people? You have, every Igbo person is, what do you call it? Every Igbo person is a potential, millionaire on his own. They don't people for no reason. They don't give up. They don't give, what do you call it? their independence to people or their thought line to people if they don't trust them. So the Biafrans, the IPOB members, they trust NNAMDI KANU. If you trust NNAMDI KANU this much, I want to believe that the members of the DOS themselves, yeah, they must have been among those who earned the trust of the man himself, NNAMDI KANU. And they hold the responsibility of holding the house, holding up while he's away. They hold that to him too. And they hold that to all of you. I agree. And I hope they'll do something about that in the next couple of days so that I can stop reading all these fights. I can stop reading all these attacks on Twitter, on Facebook, and all of this. And if it's not going to stop, maybe some of you should do something now. Okay, start your own movement. And when NNAMDI KANU comes out, maybe you can pledge your allegiance to him, since these ones can work with you, right? But it's up to you. Thank you, Jare Albert Winners, for your super sticker and the super chat. I got some. I got one from earlier. So I just want to make sure that we all know that those who choose diplomacy, those who knows that holding NNAMDI KANU, we can't break into Araf, my brother, Chiamaka. DOS have lost my respect. Simon Ekpa is doing well and I support him. Of course, from them, it's up to them to prove to us now. There are many people who have said that they are so disappointed in DOS, the Directorate of State for Biafra. And there are so many young people, even old people too, who believe so much in Simon Ekpa's style and way. It is now left for the DOS now to show leadership. Because I'm not going to pretend. I saw the day it was blocked. Somebody is in control of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's Twitter, but somehow they blocked him on Twitter. And there's so many other controversies that I don't really want to entertain because my intention is not to apportion blame here and there. I just want people to know that the things has become so delicate now that we can't afford to see people part ways the way things are going. And social media is a way that before you actually losing track, you probably have already derailed completely before you know it. And I don't like seeing that happen. I've seen so many people who have stood up for so many things in the past 8 years on this social media. Many of them have fizzled out. They fizzled out at some point simply because they got involved in some clash of titans, rivalry. I'm better, you are this, ambition and the rest of that, only for them to fizzle out after some years. So what you have in NEPA, what you have in so many other platforms, it's just an advice anyway, but I hope it works for you. So thank you so much, Ralph, for your effort. So all of you have the capacity should do something, please. Do something about how you take on this, and I hope we hear from their own DOS too. So also tonight, just before I go, before you go, since Gumis asked that how many people have been kidnapped or killed by the Fulani terrorists in southern Nigeria, that will lead to to us asking to leave Nigeria. Maybe the question we should leave with tonight is, how many of us needed to become victims before we say enough? How many? I'll leave you to this tonight, and I hope that for those who are just joining me, like I advised from the beginning, just watch my video with an open mind, okay? I don't expect myself to actually say the right things at all times. So I've spent about 90 minutes on this program tonight, yeah? 90 minutes. I'm not going to say I've actually used the right word for everything I've said, but majority of it, I have passed a message, and my message is one. Those who are after us, they are united. We that they are after, we are divided. If we see anything that will keep us divided, it is better for many of us to plug it before it sinks us, because it doesn't take much time to get this whole thing fizzled out. My YouTube channel can be shut down. My Facebook channel, everything, all my channels can be shut down within a second. And you'll be looking for Maiyegun. Where is Maiyegun? Where is Maiyegun? Where is Maiyegun? Gone. That is how kind of unreal this is. So I consider it as an opportunity that if we have anything to use it for, right, we should use it to unite ourselves, to keep the food getting bigger and bigger. The message of that peace is more powerful. Sister told me it's not war, it is also peaceful. Okay, so if we can use this tool to unite ourselves and keep ourselves together, who's going to do it for us? Sorry, I'm being too Mr. Nice. I'm going to see you some other time. And before you go, you can like that video, especially on YouTube, and then on Facebook, share it. I'm going to see you some other time. You all have a good evening.